viewers, time to look at one of my favorite games. This thrilling Nintendo programmable game lets you vary the obstacles, change the sequence of events, and increase the racing challenge time and time again. You'll start out in a Nintendo-designed preliminary race and move through a series of increasingly difficult challenge races. You'll face crazy curves, hairpin turns, daredevil jumps, and some very fierce motorcross competition as you race your bike towards the checkered flag. This thrilling test of driving strategy and skill will keep you riveted to the screen for hours. Yeah, because it's Excitebike from Nintendo, released in 1985. I had this game. I wish I still had this game. This game was a lot of fun. Being from 1985 and being made by Nintendo, it is part of their Black Box series. And the game received, unfortunately and confusingly, this game receives about a 7.5 out of 10, which is odd because it's also been considered one of the best games of all time. Just for its playability, its fun, and, like we mentioned in the description there, it has a track designer in it. How cool is that? Anyway, Excitebike, motocross racing video game. It's actually part of a franchise. It first debuted as a game for the Famicom in '84 and as a launch title for the NES in '85. It is the first game of the Excite series, succeeded by its direct sequel, Excitebike 64. Its spiritual successors, Excite Truck and Excitebot's Trick Racing, and the WiiWare title Excitebike World Rally. 3D Classics Excitebike, a 3D remake of the original game, was free for a limited time to promote the launch of the Nintendo eShop in June 2011 and has since been available for $5.99. Whether the player chooses to race solo or against computer-assisted riders, they race against a certain time limit. The goal is to qualify for the Excitebike race, which is basically the championship, by coming in at third place or above in the challenge races. The times to beat are located on the stadium walls for the first place and the lower left corner for the third place. In any race, the best time is 8 seconds ahead of third place. When the player places first, they get a message, "It's a new record!" Additional points are earned by beating the previously set record time. The player uses the controls to position the red motorcycle with the Y-axis of the control pad, up and down. For you not versed in geography, controls acceleration with the A and B buttons. The B button causes greater acceleration, but also increases the motorcycle's temperature, which is shown at the bar at the bottom of the screen. When the temperature exceeds safe limits and the bar becomes full, the player will be immobilized for several seconds while the bike cools down. Driving over an arrow will immediately reduce the bike's temperature. The pitch of the motorcycle can be modified with the X-axis, of the directional pad. Left raises the front, makes your rider lean back. Right lowers the front, which makes your rider lean forward. In the air, this rotates the bike, but can also be used to create wheelies while on the ground. The up and down arrows turn the handlebar left and right, respectively, when the bike is on the ground. At the start of the game, the player can choose one of 5 tracks in which to race. Controlling the pitch of your motorcycle during your jumps can actually make the jumps go quite a bit quicker. You want to try and land as flat as you can after a jump to keep yourself from bouncing and losing speed. Yeah. Excitebike has 3 modes of gameplay. In Section A, the player races solo. In Section B, computer-operated players join the game, and they act as another obstacle. Hitting one from the back will cause the player to fall off the bike, while any CPU riders hitting the player's rear wheel will cause them to fall. In design mode, the player has the ability to build his or her own racing tracks. The player can choose hills and obstacles of various sizes and place them, and the player can also choose where to finish the lap and how many laps there are. You can take up to 9. After it is finished, the player can race the track in either Section A or Section B. The Japanese version of the game allowed saving the player-created tracks to cassette tape, which required the Famicom data recorder peripheral, which is basically the Famicom version of the Commodore 64 data sets. Since the peripheral was only available in Japan, track saving was effectively unavailable to American and European players, even though there are save and load options present within the game menus of those versions. The English manual actually states save and load are not operable in this game. They have been programmed for potential product developments. Yeah, these options were programmed out of the e-reader version of the game. Unlike Wrecking Crew, Excitebike was never re-released for the Famicom Disk System in its original form. Subsequently, courses created with the version available on the Wii Virtual Console releases in all regions can actually be saved to the Wii's internal memory. Excitebike is a great, great game. I was looking for its listing. I do remember seeing in several different posts around the internet that this is usually when it's talked about top 10 NES games, this is almost always there. And I've even seen it in top 20, 25 spots of best games of all time list. It's a very fun game. To this day, it is fun. I had a lot of fun recording the footage for this, and actually played it a little more after I was done recording the footage because I enjoy it so much. If you have the opportunity to find this game, go get it on the Virtual Console. It's a lot of fun. Oh, also, here's a little bit of something for you. Players can unlock the title, one of several bonus NES games, in Animal Crossing for the GameCube. Yeah, how about that? Go find it, play it. I don't like racing games. I don't like sports games. This game is just fun.